Keep It 100 is brought to you by Slim Jim. Smack into a Slim Jim. La, 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 la. This is a quote from my haters. Yeah. You got me feeling like the greatest. Yeah. Bitch, I'm about to blow up. Bitch, I'm about to blow up. Hey. Welcome in to Keep It 100. I'm your host, as always, Casey Huckle. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, I will explain to you what Keep It 100 is about. But first, for those of you who are back, have been listening to my show all along, I wanted to explain to you, after I say thank you, that I have created a new introduction here because I'm celebrating Keep It 100's release onto iTunes. Now, let me explain, for those who are new, what this show is all about. Quotes that mean a lot to me. These could be maxims, adages, idioms, truisms, pieces of advice, lyrics, verses, and the like. I created this podcast because I want to celebrate these lines for giving me more perspective on life. Maybe you're thinking, why am I calling this podcast Keep It 100? It comes down to math. For the next year, I'll drop 2 episodes per week, focusing on one quote per episode to celebrate, where I'll delve into its history, including whom it's attributed to, who popularized it if necessary, and the context surrounding the quote if it's available. And lastly, I'll explain what it means to me. You might be wondering about the math. So, 2 episodes a week for a year leaves 104 episodes. Well, just like you, I need 2 weeks of vacation. So for the next year, I'm keeping 100 for you. These lines could be from a speech, the Bible, a song, maybe even from me. So without further ado, let's get into it. I've gone to the well one too many times is a quote that I have not heard enough. And of course, I love it. Otherwise, I would not put it on here, on Keep It 100. But it's something. It's an expression that I've heard maybe 5 times in my life, and I'm already 31. But to me, it means. To me, it means you've pretty much just gone to something, taken a risk, done something too dependently. I read it means taking a risk, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, it could be taking a risk one too many times, but I feel like it's like depending on something too much, and like when you're staying at someone's house, wearing out your welcome, and like staying too long. And a lot of this is it's related to my episode to everything in moderation. So obviously, yeah, if you were going to the well moderately, then things would be cool. But I look at it, this particular expression as you're living off of someone, you're mooching too much. And it could be, you're giving in to impulses or risks too many times, and I look at it like you can get into trouble. Where you try to, where I've gotten into trouble, it's just like trying to push things too far, and it's like give you an inch, you take a mile. I'm one of those people, can be very opportunistic, and it's gotten me into trouble, but I am naturally very curious, and I'm always looking for novelty. So that's why this quote would be resonating with me so much. Trying to think of examples, nothing sticks out, and maybe that's a good thing. But I've definitely, I feel like people have gotten mad at me and like Maybe some have felt like, oh, I didn't pick up on social cues because I'm waiting for someone. Like if I take too much of something, like last night, I ate like a ton of s'mores, and so I'd gone to the s'more well too many times, and that problem with like with excess is you know too much of one thing is it's not a good thing. So trying to think of other examples. This is the s'more one's the best one. It was just the freshest one. It was from last night, but I'm trying to think of a bigger one. A lot of times, grateful not to never be like addicted to drugs. But I've definitely, like with food, trying to think of my vices. Food, like just eating too much. I always eat too much popcorn. Not always, but more often than other foods. It's popcorn. It's just like I'm just compulsively going at it, and I gotten sick a few times. Alcohol would be another good example. But I feel like it's a cliche. I mean, that's what a lot of people have trouble with. And like maybe with me more so binge drinking than like, thank God I don't drink every day. I'm not dependent on it, but just like I feel like that what's like the underlying issue is the anxiety that leads to trying to like one up other people. They do this, I have to do one more. Like competition. I gotta win. I gotta always take one more shot. I gotta score one more point. Get one more girl. Even somewhat. Although maybe not explicitly, but like unconsciously. Probably worn out my welcome. Stayed at people's places too long, and there is no moral other than try to be aware when you're doing that, and like the best person you can depend on is yourself. And if you depend on yourself, you won't be like going to extremes. You won't be excessive, because I guess that's fulfilling enough. Your soul is fulfilling enough to you, where you don't have to keep on, like as opposed to vices, you keep on eating candy, like me, popcorn, s'mores, women, men, drugs, all those vices you know about. But I really just love the expression. It goes back to the 14th century. I don't have much about it from my research, but one expression I saw, another way of saying it is going to the well once too often, and I'm sure it goes back to those days when people were dependent on wells, mostly wells, which I can't remember the last time I saw a well or even have seen one. But like a lot of these quotes, I love how how relevant they, as far back as it goes, can be relevant, like to olden times, because one thing that doesn't change is humanity. I mean, somewhat, but humans are humans, and we're evolving extremely slowly, for better or for worse. But we're humans at the end of the day, and we can all relate in one way or another, right? So don't go to the well too many times or get into trouble. Trust me. Don't try this at home. All right, y'all. I'll see you.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me get some pimping in it.
This is Casey Huckle. I appreciate you finishing my episode of Keep It 100. I only ask that, as a valuable listener of mine, wherever you may be, you rate and review my podcast, Keep It 100, on iTunes and or Apple Podcasts. And if you do that, I may show up on the new and noteworthy section of iTunes like every other famous person. Because just like you and LL Cool J, I need love. And maybe one day I could quit my day job and podcast into the sunset. So I'm Casey Huckle. That'll do it. Keep it 100 out. Peace.